Hey, 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 happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Even though some people have absolutely no idea where the Grand Poobah comes from, I always got it from the Flintstones. So, anyway, we had some issues to start off the show. Not sure what they were. Anyway, but tonight is Wednesday, December 11th, 2019. This is episode 408 of The Daily Dope. So, do want to point out also, if this is the first time you're catching the show, this is very, very casual. It's a live stream. I just mainly share the latest tabletop gaming news of the day. Every once in a while, we'll talk a little bit about some pop culture things, but for the most part, it's gaming. Also, keep in mind, this is a live stream, so that means chat is available on YouTube. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do pay attention to chat, so if you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, fire away. I will respond. And of course, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that little bell. It's like right up there. If you do, it'll notify you not only when this stream goes live within about a minute or so, it'll also tell you when my standalone videos are uploaded as well. So you can check my first looks, my page throughs, my unboxings, the reviews, convention coverage, interviews, all that goodness is out there, and you will be notified. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. And now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. So, back again. So, we're seeing what's going on. So, I started off the stream. We were about 12 minutes in. All of a sudden, stream dropped. So, and I was disconnected, but everything was still fine as far as my internet. Because we were, folks were in chat. I typed in a few things into chat, and it popped up in chat. So, and then I double checked my uploads on a speed test. Everything's fine. So, kind of thinking it might have been a YouTube thing. I don't know. Even though the YouTube party's over, as far as Twitter, everybody's saying YouTube's over. Yeah, okay. So we have we've got the new terms and conditions, and of course the January 1st is the big COPPA deal. All these people are crying and getting all worked up about it. Just, police yourself, folks. That's all you got to do. Protect yourself. Don't make videos that cater to little kids. Guess that's pretty much it. Of course, I say this now after last night. I did my unboxing video, and we were taking a look at the designer Batmans from Yumi Toys. A trio of these. Yeah, I thought these are kind of cool. Hardly anybody checking out the video, which I expected. But I thought it was funny. I think I got 4 views, and right away I already had somebody go, meh, don't like that. Whatever. All right, so we've got Doug Roberts in chat, Kabuki Kids in chat, the Madman is here. And I mentioned previously, I'll say it again. Sorry to hear that the Madman's gaming night was canceled for tonight. But that loss is our gain for everybody in chat. And Kevin Thorpe is here as well. So got a good mix of news. Got to point out, as of late, past couple of days, there hasn't been a ton of board game news that I found newsworthy, I guess I'll say. I've been getting some stuff from some Kickstarters that I have no interest in promoting. And it's getting to the point where I really try to share news pieces of share news that I think is worth checking out. So, without further ado, let's jump on into the news, because coming next spring from Board and Dice is Dark Ages, and I've got the dope on both flavors of the game. Dark Ages is a historically based civilization building game that features an innovative action selection mechanism. As long as your action markers remain on the board, you may be able to gain secondary bonus actions whenever you or another player repeat the action. Well, Dark Ages features objectives commonly found in 4X games, encouraging you to explore nearby regions, expand your territory, exploit the resources, and exterminate your opponents. It does so featuring several Eurocentric mechanisms. Collect resources from lands under your control, using them to build up your cities and fortifications. Some building types provide several ways for you to gain important in-game advantages, while others enhance your military strength or simply score you victory points. As you expand your territory, you'll lay claim to noble titles, acquire new technologies, and train your military units. Each region and leader offer asymmetrical choices with their unique abilities. Dark Ages comes in two versions: Western Europe, subtitled Heritage of Charlemagne, and Central Europe, subtitled Holy Roman Empire. While both versions feature identical gameplay, each focuses its attention on a specific part of Europe during the Dark Ages, Western and Central, respectively, obviously enough. As a result, the game board maps differ between the two versions, as do the lands in which the players vie for control over, along with the flavor of inhabitants and leaders of those lands. What kind of flavor is that? What do they taste like? However, by combining both versions, you can enlarge the map into an epic battle for superiority for 5 or more players. Each game box is filled with finely sculpted miniatures of cities, fortresses, farms, and other buildings. The different types of troops, infantry, bowmen, and cavalry, are represented by unique miniatures as well. There's also a solo mode for Dark Ages, which has been designed by David Terzizi, taking a stab on that pronunciation of that last name. Each Dark Age board game is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in 1 to 2 hours. As of right now, I don't have any release dates outside of 2020, no MSRP information, and in fact, nothing outside that sell sheet info, as well as these 2 game boxes as far as information about the game, but it does sound interesting. I like historical 4X games. I am a huge fan of Europa Universalis, so I play that quite a bit. I also dig Crusader Kings 2. So I'd like to kind of get an idea what this is. Now, we had started to talk a little bit about Board and Dice before the stream crapped out on us previously, and I have not played any of their titles, but I know there's one. It's like I think it's like a Settlers Going West game, Sierra something. Somebody, I think it was Kabuki Kid, had popped up and mentioned what the game was, Sierra something. So there are a few games that Board and Dice has done that are supposed to be pretty good. I just have not played any. One thing I had to chuckle about, though, is Eric Martin over on Board Game Geek had posted like a news bit about this, and he wasn't sure if it was 1 game or 2 games, and was kind of complaining about how their database, how are we going to do this in the database? And it's sort of like, well, obviously it's 2 games. The sell sheet info says it is 2 games. Maybe read stuff before you just post it, right? And so you just say Dark Ages Heritage of Charlemagne. There's one entry, and Dark Ages Holy Roman Empire is the other. But it does sound kind of cool that you can combine both editions together for a massive, probably up to 8-player game. So that's pretty sweet. Anyway, today is Wednesday. It used to always be War Game Wednesday. So let's talk a little wargame news, because now available from GMT Games is the latest design from Volko Runke, and here's the dope on Nevsky. Latindom's Northern Crusade on Baltic pagans would not dream of taking on the Orthodox city-state before it, a wealth so mighty that Russians called the city itself Lord Novgorod the Great. But then the Khan's golden horde overran all Rus, east of Ilmen. Teutonic and Danish crusaders saw an opening to take on the schematics, or I should say schismatics, and perhaps seize Novgorod's trade routes to Asia. Nevsky is a board wargame about the storied clash between Latin, Teutonic, and Orthodox Russian powers along the Baltic frontier of the mid-13th century. It's the first volume in GMT Games' Levy and Campaign series, portraying military operations in a variety of pre-industrial conflicts. In Nevsky, players raise and equip their armies, then provision and maneuver them to ravage or conquer enemy territory or defeat enemy forces in battle. Feudal politics obligate an array of lords and vassals to serve on campaign, but only for limited periods. Players must keep an eye on the calendar and reward lords to keep the armies in the field. Nevsky is solitaire friendly, or you can add a rules option with screens that hide what the two players' lords levy. The second option adds detail regarding vassal forces' terms of service. In Nevsky, two players take the roles of Russians and Teutons, respectively. The Russians represent the wealthy city-state of Novgorod and its allies. The Teutons comprise German and Danish landholders, including the Teutonic Order, expanding a Baltic dominion. The sides every 40 days will levy various lords and vassals and their forces, transport, and capabilities backed by higher political authorities. A papal legate for the Teutons and Novgorod's city council for the Russians. Each lord is rated for fealty, lordship, service, and command, and lays out his forces and assets on a mat. Wooden pieces represent units of knights, mounted sergeants, light and Asiatic cavalry, men-at-arms, and unarmored serfs and militia. Assets include counters for transport, such as carts, boats, and sleds, provender to feed the army, and coin to pay for longer service or booty captured by ravaging or conquering enemy regions. Nevsky is for 1 or 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 1 to 6 hours, and carries an MSRP of $80. Sweet! Oku has a new system that's hitting. There has been a lot of discussion about this over on GMT, and this looks kind of cool. It does not look like it's got a super high complexity rating. So it's certainly much easier to get into than the coin lineup of games, even if you're going with like Cuba Libre, which to me is kind of the most basic, the easiest to dip your toes into. And coin is cool, don't get me wrong. This looks really nice. I am sharing some photographs that are kind of prototype, because there aren't a lot of images as far as kind of the game itself, what the game layout kind of looks like. So I am using those. Keep in mind, that's probably not exactly what this looks like. Got my fingers crossed that I should see this maybe next week. Fingers crossed. I know GMT has released a few games that shipped out late last month. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. So far in chat, we've got Doug Roberts is back. Kabuki Kid is back. The Madman's here. Kevin Thorpe, as well as Hubcam 210. So probably the other folks who were in chat are kind of just floating around. Because I think we had a couple other people. We had, I believe, a Gray Day. Yeah, a Gray Day was in chat with us. Although I noticed they sort of lurk a little more. But they don't, which is fine. I mean, watching the show, it doesn't matter. You don't have to jump into chat if you don't want to. But I do notice that a Gray Day usually pops in and kind of says, hey, thanks for the stream at the end of the show. All right. So as I mentioned, board gaming news was kind of, I don't know, hit or miss. Although those two news pieces are cool. If they weren't, I wouldn't share them. Well, let's move on to some role-playing game news. And the first piece is not necessarily really role-playing as we know it, because Starfinder is coming to Alexa. I'm not joking. Here's the dope from Paizo Inc. and Amanda Hammond. For months now, we at Paizo have been holding onto an incredible secret. Starfinder, the science fantasy game that mixes dragons with robotics and magic missiles with high-tech hacking, is coming to Amazon Alexa. Let me repeat that. This is not a drill. On December 16th, a voice-based version of the Starfinder role-playing game will be available for free on Alexa devices through Amazon's cloud-based voice service. We're giving you a heads up on this release so that you can track down any of the Alexa-supported devices and, if you want, play the moment the free episode drops. At launch, just say, Alexa, play Starfinder on any Alexa-enabled device. You'll beam straight into an adapted version of Scoundrels in the Spike, the adventure I wrote for the Starfinder beginner box. Those are Amanda's words, not mine. I didn't write that adventure. The adaptation script was written by none other than James L. Sutter, former Starfinder creative director and an amazing author whose work really makes this voice experience shine. Incredible voice actors, sound effects, and music further make this game sing. Specifically, when Starfinder creative director Robert G. McCreary and I heard the rich soundscapes of Absalon Station and felt the tension of combat with space goblins, we were gleefully astonished. This project has brought Starfinder's world to life just as we imagined, and for me, it was a truly awe-inspiring experience. The rules Alexa uses to run the adventure are similarly adapted from the beginner box. Starfinder fans will recognize the player character options as Isef the iconic operative, Quig the iconic mechanic, and Nevsky the iconic envoy, plus Quinn the iconic Eskimo. Okay, I made that up. There's no Quinn the Eskimo. What's more, Raya the iconic technomancer, everybody's iconic, can serve as a best friend and sidekick in these adventures. Simply put, there's a lot to recognize and love if you're already a fan of Starfinder. If you're new to the game, or even the tabletop RPGs in general, this experience is a fantastic gateway to a lifetime of adventure and fun. Beyond the pilot episode, Paizo and Amazon have big plans to bring more paid episodes of the Starfinder voice game to Alexa. But we'll save that reveal for another time, and probably a press release or two. So this is coming to Alexa, to Amazon, December 16th, and I am intrigued. I certainly am. I do not own any Alexa devices, though. Sorry. I have no need for it. I am not that lazy. No, I'm just joking. I mean, yes, I know people enjoy it to play their music and things like that, but I'll have to talk to Elliot Miller because he's got Alexa, he's got echoes and dots and whatnot all throughout his house. And I think he and his wife and probably his daughter will get a kick out of this. We'll have to let him know about this. Maybe he will check it out. Now, of course, this first episode, this premiere episode, is going to be absolutely free. After that, these episodes will be paid. I'm sort of curious to find out how long will the game go. I mean, and I'm just very curious about the whole thing. So it's almost as if like Alexa is your game master running the show. So that is what I'm kind of curious about. And of course, what are you going to do with your random number generator? Is that through Alexa as well? I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But this is a very intriguing news item for sure. Okay, so let's talk about more traditional role-playing game fare. In fact, Doesn't get more traditional than this, because now available from Necrotic Gnome is the Old School Essentials Black Box. I've got the dope. Old School Essentials is an adventure role-playing game of exploration, danger, monsters, and magic. The game is intentionally rules light, putting the focus of play on imagination, improvisation, and fun. The rules are optimized for ease of use at the table with meticulous attention to wording and layout clarity. What's more, Old School Essentials is 100% compatible with the classic basic/expert game from 1981. Of course, we are talking about Dungeons & Dragons. So, I know they can't say that. I can. And a gray day is back. Yes, we are back. We've been back for 21 minutes. Anyway, so as I mentioned, Old School Essentials is 100% compatible with the classic basic/expert game from 1981, meaning that decades of adventure are at your fingertips. Old School Essentials, meticulously edited and laid out with the aim of maximizing ease of reference during play. No more searching for references scattered across multiple pages. No more scanning dense paragraphs of text to pick out details. Everything in Old School Essentials is logically organized and collated and presented in a quick-to-read format based on control panels, 2-page spreads presenting a single topic in its entirety. Old School Essentials is a modular game where the core rules of the game are extended by additional rules modules, which add content for different genres of fantastic adventure. The Old School Essentials Black Box is a compilation of the core rules plus 4 rules modules, forming a complete game for classic fantasy adventures. The Black Box contains 5 A5 digest-sized books, they are hardcover, totaling 296 pages. They include the core rules, classic fantasy genre rules, classic fantasy magic user and cleric spells, classic fantasy monsters, and classic fantasy treasures. You can score the Old School Essentials Black Box set for €60, or about $66.82. So Kevin Thorpe says, looks like basic D&D, and that is because it is. Old School Essentials is effectively basic expert boiled down to make more sense, to be clearer to understand, but there are no rules changes to my knowledge. It is all the same rules. Unlike, say, like Swords and Wizardry or Labyrinth Lord or any of our OSR retro clones that are out there, they all have some changes that have been made. As far as my understanding, Old School Essentials does not. Now, that being said, I have looked through the art-free edition of the core rules, which were, I don't know if they're still free, but when I took a peek at them about a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, it's been a while, I thought they were really, really nicely presented. Very, very well done. These are all also available in PDF from Drive-Thru RPG, and these 5 books are also available as one big book. So it is available as I think they call it the Black Tome. So you've got a few different options as far as how you can enjoy Old School Essentials. But I gotta say, I was very, very impressed by the core rules without the extras, without the artwork and stuff like that. I would love to do a review of this, but I gotta be honest. I mean, I have absolutely no connection whatsoever with Necrotic Gnome outside of sharing news that I run across from them from time to time. But I gotta say, $60, that's not a bad deal for the box set. Plus, I'm trying to remember what they are in PDF. I think they're like $9.95, if I remember correctly. Something like that. Maybe a little bit less than that. All right, speaking of PDFs, though, now available in PDF from Ronin Publishing is the first adventure campaign for the Expanse role-playing game. I've got a little bit of dope on Abzus Bounty. Abzus Bounty is a 6-part system-spanning campaign filled with action and adventure. We've given you the broad strokes, but today we're going to delve further into the details without spoiling the plot. The story opens on board the ice hauler, Abzus Bounty, gathering ice, because it is an ice hauler, in the rings of Saturn, which is exactly how the Expanse started off, if you watch the show. The default setting has the characters as members of the Bounty's crew. However, established characters can just as easily be on board for their own reasons. The crew of the Bounty discovers something unusual in the collected ice. The characters quickly find themselves swept up in conspiracies involving multiple factions from around the solar system. Not long into the campaign, the crew has the opportunity to claim a ship for themselves, an old pirate vessel called the Anne Bonny. Spoilers! Come on, man! With a ship of their own, they're set to take on all of the challenges that await them. OPA terrorists, private security companies, space pirates, Martian secret agents, corporate masterminds, and more. Abzus Bounty has a direct tie-in to the adventure To Sleep, Perchance to Dream in the core rulebook, but it's not necessary to have played that adventure. Readers of the Expanse novels have to be thrilled to find out that the crew of the Rocinante, now you get to join their adventures. Now it's time to make your own mark. Abzus Bounty presents 6 full-length scenarios designed for a new crew of characters in the Expanse role-playing game. They embark on a series of adventures, from a fateful discovery in the rings of Saturn to acquiring their own ship, spoilers, to a deadly confrontation that could change the course of history for the entire solar system. Abzus Bounty is the perfect way to kick off a new campaign. Get ready for launch. The 128-page hardcover will arrive in March of next year. It will carry an MSRP of $34.95. The PDF is available right now at DriveThruRPG for $18.95. So Kevin Thorpe mentions, that looks cool. I just finished watching the 3 seasons of The Expanse. Yes, and we get season 4 in a few days. I am looking forward to that. It took forever. I kept telling Elliot, my best pal, who those of you who are new to the show probably don't realize had been part of the gaming gang when I launched. He's been my best friend for almost 40 years. But I kept telling him, you and your wife, you got to watch The Expanse. It's excellent. Yeah. You got to watch The Expanse. It's excellent. Yeah. It took me about a year of telling him, man, you got to check out The Expanse, before he and his wife checked it out and then binge watched all 3 seasons. I was like, yep, I'm telling you, it's that good. It is that good. And I especially like the fact that if you watch on other ways other than sci-fi, which is gone from sci-fi, it's on Amazon now, the language wasn't bleeped out. So I was like, yeah, I like that. Excellent show. Really like the show. So Grady asks what the dice mechanic is for The Expanse. I have to be honest, I don't know. Sammy did the review for The Expanse. She really liked it. She thought it was excellent. But I don't recall what the dice mechanic is for it. Isn't it kind of based on the age system that Green Ronin has? Isn't that their kind of like the age engine or something like that? It powers like Fantasy Age, Dragon Age. So I don't know. I honestly do not know. But here's the one drawback that I've got. Here's the drawback that I've got for that. And it is basically, it's a 128-page PDF for $18.95. I think that's a little pricey. I think it is a little pricey. A Gray Day mentions that they just looked. It is the age system. Yeah, there's no reason to be sorry. It's like, it's the age system. Sorry. No, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what the age system is. I have not reviewed personally anything from Green Ronin at any point. So I don't know. We've got the Madman, I believe, is still hanging around. I do want to mention, because I said, oh yeah, I have not reviewed anything from Green Ronin. The Madman had asked, actually tweeted a question to me asking if there was any reason why I don't talk about like Pinnacle Press and Savage Worlds. And no, there's actually not a reason why I don't discuss them. I just don't run across their news. I have done some reviews for Pinnacle Press. I reviewed the Goon role-playing game. I want to say I've reviewed the Savage Worlds core book back in the day. But as far as that, I mean, that's it. So, because I know the Madman said that he's in if I remember correctly, a D&D 5e campaign, a D&D 4e campaign, and a Savage World campaign, and is it like Monster Hunters International or something like that? So yes, so the Madman, I will respond to that tweet. I was super busy last night trying to get this video done, which was only like 15 minutes. But I was also trying to get this out, and that was just not coming out the way I wanted it to. But it'll be out tonight. It will be out tonight. Anyway, but like I said, the only knock I've got with this is, I think $18.95 for a 128-page adventure. It's a little much. It's a little expensive. So so Madman says, yeah, I was pretty much right. My memory's okay. It's pretty decent. It's way better than Elliot Miller's is. Elliot Miller couldn't tell you what he had for lunch yesterday. He can tell you about the Call of Cthulhu game that we played in 30-some years ago in great detail, but he can't tell you what he had for lunch. So, gotta love him. He is my best friend for a reason. One of these days, gotta see if I can get him back on board, because he's really not doing anything with the Voice of E, or I should say voiceofe.com. So a Gray Day says, roll 3d6. One of the d6s is a different color. The odd colored dice is called a drama dice. Oh, it's the drama die. Oh. All right, I got one last news piece. There are 3 new modern horror tales that have arrived in PDF for Call of Cthulhu by way of Stygian Fox. I've got the dope. First, we have the Dark Forest. Dark Forest is a modern-day scenario for the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game published by Chaos Inc., edited and written by Chitin Proctor, with art by Stephanie McGaley. I think that's how Stephanie pronounces her last name. I think. An entity from Finnish folklore takes hold of a small U.S. town, completely unprepared for the corruption and horror it brings. The scenario deals with extremely mature themes, including the horror of sexual abuse. While this is handled as an off-screen past event, it is one of the driving facets of an NPC's character. As such, please be aware that some of the themes are quite mature and suitable for adult gamers only. It is required that you clear such subjects with your players first before playing and away from the table in order to not cause distress. That's completely up to people how they want to run their games and stuff like that. Thankfully, I have always run games. I know everybody. I really don't have to go, too crazy. We don't have like an X card or anything like that. But then again, there are things that I just will not game. Anyway, but this 74-page PDF is available for $9.95. Next, we have Autophagia. Autophagia is a classic 1920s scenario for the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, edited by Chitin Proctor and written by Tyler Omachinsky, with art by Stephanie McGaley. A peculiar disease begins to spread on a transatlantic liner. Blisters, sores, and discoloration lead to delirium and a strong need for the patient to chew away at parts of their own body. As the investigators peer a little close into the mystery, they find a shapeless entity intent on conquering the world. The scenario deals with extremely mature themes, including the horror of self-harm. While this is handled as an off-screen past event, it is one of the driving facets of the disease. Taking inspiration from Who Goes There and The Thing, the players can find themselves outmatched if they fail to keep the ship quarantined in New York Harbor. As the entity can form into other life forms by infection, there may be a part of the adventure where the ship's cat is actually, spoilers for crying out loud, is actually the entity trying to infect others and escape, leading the investigators to try to kill it. Okay, so we've got all that other stuff, and then we have harming pets, harming small animals. All right. As such, please be aware that some of the themes are quite mature and are suitable for adult gamers only. It is required that you clear such subjects with your players first. Keepers should keep in mind the content of self-harm, cannibalism, and animal cruelty when suggesting this adventure to their players. Once again, thankfully, I don't suggest adventures to my players. So, finally, we have Nakuko, or I think it might be Nakuko, the Weeping Child. It's a sit-down meal between a girl, her parents, and two teenage friends. Eating in the Japanese style, they sit on bended knees around a low dinner table. The daughter, Iko, shuffles uncomfortably, her bare legs itchy against the tatami mats. Moments later, Iko will be dead, killed by a malevolent entity intent on revenge. Damn you! Malevolent entity! Can the investigators face this threat head-on and prevent more deaths in 1990s Japan? As so often is the case, there are no winners when fate has trapped you in a dice game for doom or destiny. As such, please be aware that some of the themes are quite mature and suitable for gamers who are at least of adult age and maturity. This 34-page PDF is also $9.95. In fact, all three of these are available at DriveThruRPG for $9.95. As Kevin Thorpe mentions, lovely Stygian Fox. Yeah, Stygian Fox does really nice stuff. I reviewed The Things We Leave Behind, which I really liked. Do want to point out, and I know there's mention as in the sell sheet info about mature themes and things like that. That is very true as far as Stygian Fox, especially with their modern style adventures. Hudson and Brand, the Victorian era C of C, not so much as far as mature themes, but their modern stuff really is. It's also very good, but I do point that out. It's all really more for adults. Just like a lot of stuff that comes out for Delta Green from Arc Dream Publishing. That's more, the modern stuff is I tend to find that more the modern Call of Cthulhu adventures tend to be a lot more mature in nature than, of course, a lot of the 20s, especially the Chaosium stuff. So do want to point that out. One thing I do have to mention, and I love Stygian Fox stuff, but if I'm going to ding Green Ronin for 128-page PDF for $18.95, I gotta ding Stygian Fox for 34-page PDFs for $9.95. And here's the oddball thing. It seems, and I like Stygian Fox, don't get me wrong, it seems to me that they kind of just do, okay, $9.95 or $14.95, and there's no rhyme or reason. So, for an example, Hudson and Brand, I want to say, is $14.95, and that's 140 page PDF, somewhere around there. Then you've got The Things We Leave Behind, which I believe is about 128 pages, $14.95. We were talking about The Dark Forest, the first adventure. That's 74 pages, 74, 76 pages, something like that. $9.95. Okay, that's I can see that. Is once, don't get too far past that 10 cents a page, because that's where I start going. But, $10, 74 pages, that's okay. The 34 pages for $10. Yeah, and I get it. Stygian Fox is a small company. I get it. I understand that. I just have to mention from a consumer's viewpoint, kind of like, wow. And yeah, I completely get it. If it's an adventure that, you've got 2 or 3 4-hour sessions of enjoyment out of, you got a lot of mileage out of your $10, especially when you consider what it costs to go see a shitty movie that you don't know is going to be shitty at the theater with friends, and there's 90 minutes of your life you don't get back, nor do you get the price of entrance, right? So Kevin Thorpe says, yeah, I agree about the pricing. That's why I peruse the Miskatonic repository. Now my gosh, there's just so much stuff in the repository. And there's a lot of stuff that has come and gone out of there as well. So, yeah, I'm a big Call of Cthulhu fan. I think I mentioned it. If I didn't, I should mention that I am going to be running my nephew Cameron, his girlfriend Lexi, his other friend Cameron. Yeah, that's kind of bizarre. And possibly guest appearances by Elliot Miller, who already played this campaign years and years ago. I am going to run them through Masks of Nyarlathotep. Starting this weekend. Supposed to be starting this weekend. So, but the thing is, I am looking at possibly utilizing the Cthulhu hack instead of the Call of Cthulhu rules. Maybe. Not sure yet. Because I did do the, during our Extra Life stream this year, I did run a Call of Cthulhu adventure. And it was from Atomic Age Cthulhu. And I just, I kind of reappropriated, did my own thing with it. But, so Tony pops in. Welcome, Tony. I don't think we've seen Tony swing in before. Says, hi, I actually caught you live. Yes, you did. You caught me live because we had a problem with the stream early. That's why. We were already 12, 13 minutes into the stream when we were having an issue, so we restarted. Anyway, so they kind of understand the rules in that, but I'm trying to go a little rules lighter with them, simply because they don't have a lot of role-playing game experience. And Call of Cthulhu can be kind of an intimidating system. For gamers nowadays. Of course, when I was 14 years old, that was par for the course. In fact, we had all the Avalon Hill rule books that were like 50 pages long to figure out how to play a game. So Call of Cthulhu was actually kind of easy. So, but these days, not too much. So a Grade A asks, for my Call of Cthulhu sessions, is it theater of the mind or do I use props? Yes, I actually use prop engines for for weather effects. I do not use props. I don't use sound effects. Okay, I take that back. Like if there's a loud bang, I love like startling the players while they're playing. I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent and the show's going to run a little bit long, but so as Will Burton says, I think my second war game was Third Reich, which didn't seem to be that bad at the time to learn. No, it didn't. Nowadays, if you crack, and I have it, I've got Third Reich. If you crack that open and you look, you'd be like, we're not learning to play this game. It's like, but here back in the day, we'd open it up, be like, all right, I guess I'm going to have to spend a lot of time reading this rule book. No, I do not use props, but I do voices. I do use voices. Usually I don't do voices for just random NPCs. So I think the players know that if I'm doing a kind of a voice for an NPC, pay attention because it's probably going to be an important NPC. But I like to startle them. So say something's going on and we're like, they're against the clock doing something, and they're kind of just trying to discuss, okay, we're going to try to do this. And sometimes I'll just like interrupt them, or I'll be like if there's a bang or something like that, I'll like slap the table. They're like bang. And they're like, I do that stuff. And of course I use the handouts and that all the time. So, but yeah, other than that, I don't use music and thing. I'm not a guy who role plays with miniatures, because I find that, at least from my experience, many of the players, it becomes a distraction with the miniatures as opposed to trying to, it becomes where it's just a tactical game. That's not what I'm looking for. So, anyway, but that's how I run Call of Cthulhu, and we will begin Massive Nyarlathotep this weekend. Fingers crossed. So, that is it for tonight's show. Do want to mention my review of Walking in Burano will be up later on tonight, so you may want to check that out. If you haven't, take a peek at the designer Batman video that I did. I think it's got like 10 views so far, so do me a favor. Just take a peek at it. You don't have to watch it. It's only about 14 minutes long, but just watch a few minutes of it. And then I am going to have reviews of Elementos and Thieves' Den later on this week. I might have, I should have Control Group for Delta Green done as well. All right. So, as I like to point out, if you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to the channel. When you do, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will notify you not only when this stream goes live, it'll also tell you when my standalone videos get uploaded, like the review tonight. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Let's check through the chat here. So Tony says, yeah, it's true. Minis pull you out of the game, put you in a different perspective. At least that's how I believe. I mean, I don't have any qualms about people using miniatures in their games. If they want to do it, that's fine. But it's just not my thing. It's not my thing. I set the stage. If you get a chance, if you haven't ever watched the Extra Life stream that we did in early November, check a few minutes out towards the end of the stream, like the last half, I should say, 6 hours of the stream. I'm running Call of Cthulhu, kind of light, not as dark as I would usually make it, simply because I had no idea who was watching the stream. It could be somebody with their kids. I wasn't going to freak people out. Anyway, so those of you who hung out in chat, thank you so much for keeping me company. I always appreciate it. That way I don't feel like a doofus sitting here staring at a camera, talking to nobody, talking to myself, talking to Pinky as she goes walking by, or Smokey as she goes walking by. But then again, of course, if you watch at any point in time, doesn't matter if it's live or on Memorex, I certainly appreciate it, and I have a very soft spot in my heart for all of you. I truly, truly do. So everybody enjoy your Wednesday night. Of course, I will be back tomorrow with some more news. And of course, until then, happy trails. Whoa, hey. I didn't realize that you were still here. Well, if that's the case, then allow me to share the following information with you that I only have 20 seconds to do. So let's all take a deep breath. So if you would like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, please click right here. If you want to check out the latest episode of The Daily Dope, click right here. And if you'd like to check out a randomly selected standalone video, by all means, click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and thanks for watching.